All right, guys, welcome to the show, The Star, Ashton. Wave to everybody, babe. There he goes. All right, that's how Ashton says hi. Okay, going to the last school board meeting. We're going to, 6 o'clock. We're going to jump on it, guys, as fast as we can. So we're going to talk about some of the, some of the public input, right? Okay, there's public input. A lot of people upset with the school district. I'm going to read off some notes, Ash, from two people. The first one is a custodian by the name of Moses. He talks about not having enough time to properly mop the classrooms or disinfect the restrooms, and that he's disappointed because the kids have to go to school with unsanitary classrooms and restrooms. And that's what he's saying. And then he goes on to say, in the last couple months, Ash, they've all heard of the alleged affairs. Which I don't know who he's talking about, but that he said that, that's a pretty big deal. And then he comes out and says, and then also they've heard of threats to Sarah Bonilla and lawsuit after lawsuit. And then he goes on to say the district is in shambles, ran by fear, retaliation, nepotism, favoritism, failed leadership is what he concludes. And then after that, as he walks off, there's a thunderous applause, Ash. Everybody's clapping. And then the classified president, Miss Bonilla, Sarah Bonilla, goes up. And I just wrote down a little bit of what Miss Bonilla said. And she's addressing the board at one point. Thank you. And she says to the board, this toxic culture starts at the top. These behaviors of these leaders, talking about the district staff leadership, reflects the tone set by the superintendent. I'm going to interject right there and say, but it's allowed by the board. The board is actually, you could blame the board on that one, Miss Bonilla. And then she goes on to say, it's become clear that mistreatment and bullying against classified staff has been given a green light. And then she says, hey, if she's got to come back, she'll come back. You know, if she has to keep coming back, she will. I'm going to interject right here and say, hey, Miss Bonilla, and just to give her advice and the classified union some advice. Oh, that's awesome. If you're going to go to these meetings and you're going to keep coming back, like you say, it's not going to do anything unless you guys push the issue. So there's a couple things that you guys can do, and this is my opinion, trying to help. But and I'm going to go back to where Ashton. Just go ahead and hold on to that. Remember that makes noise, okay? Back in 2012 and then again in sometime in 2019, I had asked for legal opinion when I was on the school board because I wanted to support parents that were coming in. And we were told, both times we were told that by admin that you cannot respond during public input. And I challenged it and I got two legal opinions. The first legal opinion I got it right here in my hands. I'm going to read it. And the question for the legal opinion was, are board members authorized to make comments during board meetings on non-agenda items? That was the question for me. Well, here you go. The answer. This is the answer. No action. This is a really big deal, too. Yeah, that's awesome, Ash. This is a really big deal to the classified and to everybody else and parents. Excuse me. No action or discussion shall be undertaken on any item not appearing on the posted agenda, except that members of the legislative body or its staff may briefly respond to statements made or questions posed by the persons exercising their public testimony rights under Section 54954.3. So then it also goes on to say, hey, the board members' rights to comment on matters of school district business not listed on, oh, that's cool. Not listed, yeah, babe. Not listed on regular meeting agendas include. This is the first. This is it right here. This is the big part. Providing a brief response to persons who address the board during public testimony. So what's that saying is, Mrs. Bonilla, classified and parents, even though you're not on the agenda, which is where you can get things done, you can pose questions to them, and they have the right to answer. I have what they're doing, and I believe from my experience and my opinion, is they're playing the old game of, hey, don't respond, and then they could vent and leave. And that's what they've been doing. You don't see anybody trying to respond during that time, mostly. I haven't. And they're sitting in silence, which is also acceptance. So this is a really big part. So that way everybody that's watching and hears this, it's section 54954.3. The board can respond, can have a brief response to persons who address the board during public testimony. So the board can respond. So Mrs. Bonilla and Classified, you can demand that they respond to a question right there in public input. You guys are going there and just saying things. You guys need to pose the questions and hold their feet to the fire and have them answer. They're trying to be public officials in private. They're accepting everything that's going on that you guys are upset about. Now you have this information that I just read gives you guys the knowledge, the information to challenge them, to ask them to respond to you. That's how you hold them accountable. Now, going a step further, if I was on the classified, this is my opinion, but this is what you guys got to fight. You guys need, I'm going to say it, you guys need to, in my opinion, what you guys should do is have a meeting and have a vote of confidence or no confidence, vote of no confidence against the leadership or even the superintendent. And if the majority votes no confidence, then you need to demand that be an agenda item and take it to the board and have them respond to you. Force the issue. They're playing the game. They're playing the old game right now. We can't respond because it's public input and it's all bullshit. They can respond. These are the biggest cowards and the worst school board, especially with the finances that I have ever seen. What they have done with our children's money and the lack of compassion for the parents and the workers that have been showing up. They have sat in silence and have accepted the failures of the school district, according to what I've been hearing from the employees and the parents. The parents' rights for agenda items has been ignored, and they, the board, who are the oversight, has done nothing for them. There's 3 of those guys up this year. They need to be voted out. That's how you hold them accountable. You listen to the employees, the people, when it makes sense, and you act upon it. To sit in silence is horrendous. Worst school board of all time by far. Anyway, so classified, you need to put these guys on the spot, even if you're not on the agenda. You demand a response. You pinpoint each one of those guys and you ask for a response. And then you have a meeting, and then you have a vote of confidence, no confidence on you get leadership, or you could say the superintendent. And this is my opinion. This is what I would do. I would have a vote, and if the majority goes a certain way, if it happens to be a vote of no confidence, then I would take it to the board and demand a response. Anyway, please like, subscribe. Ashton, can you please tell everybody bye? And all these things were my opinions with some of the facts. And hey, man, make things happen, right, Ash? All right. Thanks, guys. Please like, subscribe, and share.